Bonjour! My name is Ruth Hapgood. I am 10 years old. I was born in 1880. I attended school here in Alton. My father, Charles H. Hapgood, moved his company to Alton in 1874 after the Chicago fire. He was the founder of Hapgood Plow Company. After my father moved to Alton, he met and married my mother, Fanny Powers. He was making quite a bit of money then, and we were a wealthy family. My father and mother enjoyed traveling. My mother's favorite place was Paris, France. She may have preferred to live there instead of Alton. I liked living in Alton, but living in Paris would have been very exciting. Driven with this love for Paris, Mother and I learned how to read and speak fluent French. I used this skill whenever I could. We lived at 15th and Liberty Streets with my 3 older brothers, Norman, Hutchins, and Will. When they all left for college, I was the only child in the house. My brothers became very successful after college. Norman and Hutchins became writers of much fame in France and New Jersey, and Will had a business in Indianapolis. Our house was a large red brick that sat far back from the road. I loved that house, but there was so much to do. Our living room was long and stately, with beautiful archways on each side of the room. The archways led into alcoves with windows from ceiling to floor. The sides of the alcoves were packed with hundreds of wonderful books. My favorite room was the nursery, where I kept my most precious treasures. A beautiful collection of dolls. Oh, they were magnificent. They were all dressed in the most beautiful French clothing and hairstyles. My favorite was this princess I had named Isabel. She always wore a green silk dress and white shoes. Her long golden hair was put into glorious curls. She was the most beautiful doll in the entire world. On occasion, I would wear my mother's clothes. I would go into her bedroom and open the closet door. She had the most wonderful French-style clothing, from feather hats to high-heeled shoes to long, silky dresses. My mother was a slender woman. Therefore, I fit into her things quite nicely. Once I had something on, I would sway my way around the house, and I would smile and wave as if I were a high-class woman living in Paris. My mother would laugh and join me. I think she had the same visions as I, walking through Paris in her fancy clothes and proper speaking voice. I think she truly believed that she would live there one day. One winter, a diphtheria epidemic plagued Alton. During this time, doctors did not know anything about it, nor did they have serums to treat it. Unfortunately, I too caught the disease. Many people in town had it as well, including Lucy Haskell, the little daughter of our leading doctor. At first, it seemed like I was getting better, but to no avail. The disease had left me so exhausted that my heart just stopped working. 2 other families also experienced similar afflictions, which caused a profound depression throughout Alton. I am buried here, in this cemetery. Stunned by the loss and mad with grief, my mother fled from Alton. She left our caretaker, Mr. Remke, to watch the house. Abruptly, a few years later, my mother returned to Alton. She and a female friend brought all of my toys to the driveway and burned them. While the fire was still smoldering, my mother left, never to be seen again in Alton. I suppose to escape the reality of losing her only daughter. In my father's retirement, my mother and he were frequent travelers. My father entertained himself by studying the peoples of the globe. He died in 1917 at 81 years old. My mother's death followed in 1922, and she was buried in Greenwood Cemetery in New York City. Au revoir.